Hello, everyone. And I'm so grateful to be here with you this evening on a beautiful Friday evening. And it's a beautiful evening. It was interesting. I was out on the outside on the um, little kind of balcony walkway in front of my apartment, and I saw the woman there, and I her son waved and said hello, and I waved back, and she said, "Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day." And I said, "Oh, yes, it is." And she said, "You, uh, you always know it's a beautiful day," or something to that effect. And I was like, "Wow, we've actually never spoken, and I wonder how she knows that." But one of the things that I'm pretty certain of is that she sees me in my morning prayer each day. So I'm thinking that she's probably seen me in my morning prayer, and so she knows that I am in contact with this day, and that I'm grateful for this day. And so I'm grateful for this day, and I've been thinking about gratitude, but I've also been thinking about the voice and about healing. And so I wanted to speak a little bit about that this evening in our conversation. I um, had spoken a little bit about the prayer of the seven directions, the prayer of the seven directions, and that prayer. There was a Mayan prayer. That I had talked about, and that Dana Arabel and Araceli Dominguez had taught me. And so I wanted to say that prayer. I'd said a little bit of a condensed version, but I don't like to do condensed version. I mean, it's a very sweet, simple prayer. And so um, the prayer of the seven directions is from the East, house of light. May wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things with clarity. From the South, house of eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From the West, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the North, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From above the house of heaven, our people and ancestors gather. May their blessings come to us now. May their blessings come to us now. From below the house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with the harmonies to bring peace to earth. From the center, the galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may all be known in the light of mutual love. O Yum Hanabku Eva Maya Emaho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. And so I think about our voices and where we're sending our voices and where our voices are carrying. And what is my voice? Celtic prayer called Wisdom, Voice, and Bounty. And it says, voice of swan be yours, voice of swan be yours, voice of honey be yours, voice of honey be yours, voice of the son of the stars, voice of the son of the stars. And I think about how our voice is a messenger. It's like an arrow. Our voices send our thoughts and our energy across the landscape, not only of our own lives and the lives of others that we care about, but also the deep wisdom of the universe receives that voice and receives that knowledge. And so I wonder at this time, what am I doing with my voice? There's also the wisdom of the raven, the wisdom of the valley and the eagle, and the bounty of the sea. be yours, and the bounty of the land be yours, and the bounty of the mysteries of heaven, the bounty of the mysteries of heaven. So great. I just love that. I think it's so beautiful. And I love that the ancient Celtic prayer and how that feels, but also just the sound. I'm recognizing that as we're slowing down, just simply the sound of our voices, the resonance of our the vibration of our voice and of our vocal cords. And one of the things that I've recognized, and especially we've been in this month of poetry. We've been in this, month of poetry or poetry month, which I think has also been prayer month. And please help us month if you can. Please help us. Give us another perspective because we could really use another perspective. Voice of honey be yours, voice of swan be yours, voice of the sun of the stars. So we're having an opportunity to send our voices in new and in different ways. And so it's interesting to think about those new and those different ways. And I think about a couple of the things that Annie Tenzin Lodren and I were talking about in our conversation, and about the metta. And I have a friend, my friend Jen Finkelweaver, who has been singing the metta at the top of every hour, I believe. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. And I'm sure that she will help me out if I don't. But I think about that, and I can feel into that. And it's not simply the statement. It's not simply saying, may you be free from suffering. But it's the sound of it. It's the singing of it. It's the resonance of it. And one of the things that I learned when I was very young is that there's special power in songs, and that if you do certain things, you will want to accompany it with a song. You will want to accompany that experience with your expression and with the sound of your voice. And so I think that one of the things that is powerful to work with, one of the things that is powerful. I'm looking at the encouragement of my friends. I was like, is this is this on? Is this working? So, and they all say that it is working. So I'm really grateful that it is. It's so sweet. Oh my gosh, the video start. Yay. Thank you, Spirit. So we're all together now. Thank you, you guys. Yay. And so I think about this, and I think about how the voice is here not only now, but it's also here to go into the future. And that, our words can cause suffering, or our lack of words can cause suffering, our lack of comfort, our lack of ability to engage, because it takes a courage. It takes courage to engage. It takes a certain degree of the vulnerability to show ourselves, to show what we think and what we don't think. Or, are my words causing comfort, or are my words causing someone to feel safe because I'm really direct with them? Or one of the things that I've learned is that we feel safe around direct people. It's always interesting to notice how it feels if someone is smiling, but they're not really feeling that way. Or they are saying that they're fine, but they really don't feel that way. So it's interesting that we have this time now to come into contact with ourselves in a different way, in a whole new way. And I think that, there is not an easier, I really love, there's a poem by Mary Oliver called Dogfish. And at the end of that poem, she says, and if they stop, I'm paraphrasing, but if they stop looking for an easier, softer way, they just might make it. And I think that that's one of the things that the things that are required of us that really have meaning require courage. And the courage that is required is also that courage to really share who we are, to share what we think, to share our experience. But it also requires the courage to hear someone else, to hear their voice, to hear what is happening for them and their feelings, and what is happening in their world. And so I think that, we have this opportunity right now to be able to do that very well, and to give our voice, to really allow our voice to have its true message, because our voice can have its true message if we can be with ourselves. Like, if we can be with ourselves, if we can resonate with ourselves, if we can find out what is happening and not happening, what we like and what we don't like, really, it's a lifetime conversation with ourselves about who we are and about what we want to deliver to this place. We are a delivery system, we're an instrument, and that instrument is here to deliver its message and its gifts to the earth and to the sweet face of Mother Nature. And so I would ask myself each day, and this last week we've been working with and looking at deep listening. So we talked in our last conversation about going outside and doing deep listening. And so, can I go outside and do that deep listening? But then, what do I hear that I want to share? What am I listening to, and what am I hearing that I want to share with other people? Or maybe that I want to share with the birds outside. Something I've noticed is they're really loud right now and they're singing a lot, and it makes me very happy that they sing so much. And so the birds, we can sing with them or we can sing to them. Another thing that is recommended there's a book called the Hopi Survival Kit. And in the Hopi Survival Kit, they recommend singing to your seeds and to your seedlings. And I had the most wonderful surprise the other day. Because I've been loving my seeds, but I had this wonderful surprising gift. Here, let me grab it. Of these seedlings that came. And so in addition to my own seeds, someone delivered these to my porch, and I found out that someone was Amber Bennick, and Jenica Tyler delivered these beautiful little seedlings. And these seedlings have been loved. You can tell probably someone really sang to them and cherished them and loved them. And so in the Hopi Survival Kit, they talk about this. They talk about loving our seeds and loving our seedlings. And so, aren't they marvelous and miraculous? And so this is like our voice, and our voice is like this seed, and we can plant that seed in places, hopefully, where it will do some good, hopefully where it will bring about, this is like, oh my gosh, so miraculous, all from a little tiny seed. Isn't that just the best thing ever? Aw, so sweet. And so our voice is this bounty. Our voice has this ability to become bounty. Our voice has this ability to grow us and to grow others, and to help create what it is that we want to see come into form, and what it is that we want to eventually, hopefully, extend our thanksgiving for, our love and gratitude and thanksgiving for in the fall. And in the Hopi Survival Kit, it goes over exactly how to plant your seeds and how to love them and how to sing to them. And so we can sing to them. They also like poetry, but they are our friends. They are their own nations, their own people, their own tribes, their own villages of plants. And so, and they, I've found most of them are pretty friendly. Some don't really like to be approached, but most are pretty friendly. And so I find that there is a way where we can send our voice, and we can send our voice to the places where we know it is needed, or we can send our voice in ways where we share our gratitudes with the people that we care about. We can send our voice in ways where we can share our thoughts. We can vent. We can move things out of our body. We can also, with our voice, we can mentor. We have the opportunity to share what it is that we've learned, and to extend that learning to someone else who might like to learn about that also. I remember there was a time when we had apprentices, and so there are some places where there are still apprentices, and but I remember, reading and hearing stories about everyone had their apprentices. Like if you made apprentice you, and they would learn how to make the shoes, or if you were a really skilled builder, then you would go and you would learn from a builder who had that skill or who built things in a way that you admired. If you really loved fishing, then you would go and you would learn to fish from a fisherman. So, or a fisher person, a fisher woman. So used to be able to go and learn from someone who's done these things before for a long time, and be with someone you admired, and then it's almost like their voice carries you. Then your voice can carry the descendants. Your voice can reach those who are yet unborn. Your gifts, your learnings. And it's interesting. I'm going to be teaching mentorship and leadership this next weekend, and I think about how there's like passwords on everything, and there's like everything's kind of on lockdown, and people don't really want to share their information. There's like all of these things about how everything is copyrighted down to the last little, and trademarked, and really I feel like the things that we learn, we're supposed to share, like that's how I learned. I mean, when I was learning from my stepfather, it was like, it's like you give all your knowledge away. Everything that you learn, you want to give that away. You want to encourage, you want to invite, you want to uplift the gifts and the talents of other human beings. And you want to make the world a better place for future generations. So, of course, you would share any knowledge that you had so that everyone could win, that everyone had the opportunity to build on that knowledge and to even make that knowledge even more or even better than it was. And so I've been thinking about the voice, about the power of the voice, about the ability of the voice to carry our gifts and our talents into the world, and especially right now because I mean, it's so interesting because, we kind of expected this. So, both of my moms and my teachers, my mentors, the people that I have apprenticed, we've expected that there would be some hardship. I mean, even Amachi says this is something that one of her swamis gave a synopsis at a talk, and Angelo Gatto, thank you for providing this for me. But one of her swamis gave this synopsis of one of her talks, and it says, Amma says that things are not going to get easier. Okay? Amma says things are not going to get easier. Life on earth is going to be very challenging for a while. She stresses the importance of satsang, or spiritual community. She teaches that when one person does spiritual practice on their own, they have a positive impact of one person. When 100 people gather to do spiritual practice, each person present receives the positive vibration of the other 99 people as well, thereby pulling them along more powerfully on their own path. Also, when 100 people gather, they impact 10,000 others, 100 times 100, in a positive way. Isn't that cool? When 100 people gather, they impact 10,000 others, 100 times 100, in a positive way. The influence is multiplied when we meditate or pray together. The influence is multiplied when we meditate or pray together. Amma says that a rise in fear and suffering is now inevitable in the coming times, and that this gathering in spiritual community to do spiritual practices together is an essential component in growing the amount of love available in the world. Amma says that the rise in fear and suffering is now inevitable in the coming times, and this gathering in spiritual community to do spiritual practices together is an essential component in growing the amount of love available in the world. And so, what does that mean to me? What does it mean to me to have a spiritual practice? And it's really clear, there's things are not going to get easier for a while, and you know what? That's okay. That is fucking okay. Like, it's okay that things aren't going to get easier. Who needs things to be easier? Why do we need things to be easier all the time? What is that about? I mean, it's kind of like we're kind of a bunch of babies and we can't do anything for ourselves anymore, Mm. But My friend Lawrence Winterman was talking about that just on Tuesday, this last Tuesday. And so I think that what's important is that we're able to say, hey, this isn't easy, but we're being shown things and we're being given opportunities to look at ourselves and opportunities to change for the better. And I believe that that's why all crisis is an opportunity, or all crisis, it's like the cell when it's splitting off. It's a crisis, but that means the cell is growing. Of course, it's a crisis that it's splitting off, but we know that the change is essential because the cell is becoming something different and becoming something more. And so I've been having this idea about being antibodies, that we're all antibodies, and that we have the opportunity to be antibodies for whatever is not working, or for whatever we've contracted that's not working, or whenever we are not feeling well, that we have the opportunity to be an antibody. And we have an opportunity to be an antibody in our culture at this time. So I think that Amma's synopsis of, what is my spiritual practice, and how can I have a spiritual practice that is meaningful, and how can I show up to, praying or meditating. And there's a lot of really wonderful ways to do that at this time. I mean, people are turning things in a more positive and beneficial direction. I know my friend Araceli Dominguez, the other day, she was telling me that they're doing a global meditation, and we have the opportunity to join those meditations or to join those prayer times. But even, I just think about the Mayan prayer to the 7 directions, or the prayer that my Hoka mom taught me to do to the 4 directions every morning. And I think about, what if we were all greeting the day? What if we were all greeting the sunrise? What if we were, I have the book here somewhere. I really should get it so I can read it to you guys. I promise I will read it to you. I will find it and I will read it to you maybe on Monday. Oh, yay. Yes, here it is. This is the name of the book. It's The Way to Start a Day by Bird Taylor. And then the illustrations are by Peter Parnell. And she just talks about how cross-culturally and globally there are ways that everyone starts the day. And so I can ask myself, how do I start the day? And in what ways do I begin? And can I go to the east and face the sun, or face the sunrise, and give thanks for this day, and give thanks for the sun, and give thanks for my life? And then in that silence, which we talked about on Wednesday, and that precious silence, which there's a lot more of at this time, we can listen deeply and then see if there's a message, see if there is wisdom, and then to pray for the world, like I'm praying for my brothers and my sisters, my friends, my elders, my family members. I'm praying for my tribe. I'm praying for my villages. I'm praying for the globe. I'm praying for all nations to be well. And what is my prayer? And that prayer is what is in the makeup of my voice as it streams over the body of the earth and into the air and into the light. All of the ways that my voice has the power to change things. And what does that require? Well, it requires a pause. And some of us are losing others. And I have a poem that's called Earth Language, and I think about our love for the earth. I think about how we are a part of the earth, and that if we love the earth, it's actually self-love. So, excuse me. So when I am, loving the earth, or the creatures, or the beings that are there, it's actually a practice of self-love. And when I'm just falling in love with the earth, and falling in love with, perhaps, I've taken a walk and I've fallen in love with a little cove that I've come across, which happened for me, the Cormorant Cove. And so if I am able to fall in love, I can fall in love again with everything. And I love, let me see here, where is that? Because what we want is we want to let go of the tyranny of the urgent. We need to be able to let go of that tyranny of the urgent. And so I wanted to read this poem, Earth Language, and it is from the upcoming Honey Collections, which hopefully we'll have it out soon, which I wrote. This one I wrote, maybe, I think, a couple of years back. But this is called Earth Language. The love that was used to break you is the love that was used to make you. Leaf Story speaks green language. Branches fall heavy with snow and dark heat, and your slumber in the wakening, cracking, aching branches of open heart. Prune away all but is the root of what matters. Don't tell me another winter story. Nothing is barren forever. Everything offers something to this refining, defining. Now rest in the black earth. Now rest under the white snow. Now lie your back against the stones and remember what love is. As you bury yourself in the future branches, out of your open mouth comes the orange seeds. If you want them to, they will plant remembering on your mouth. And your arms will become myrtle and green laurel, dark violets, purple berries, honey, evergreen vines, singing songs come to ground, to light like a bird's soul, to love what would never willingly or knowingly hurt you, to love your own present more than the luxury of indulging in histories of broken things, barren and worth forgiving now. Rest under the love, the brittle skin winter pond above you now. Rest under the scar. Now feel how the water returns to the sky that rains down as love is a tree, is a small silver petal of your mouth, a small gray stone in your teeth, a face that reflects your forgotten nature back to you in kind gestures. Destroying the earth of your past, rebuilding a pathway through your chest cavity that means the well is deep and you are its only moisture. The dry reeds crackle with winter's breathing when death is remembered in the spring. And it's called Earth Language, and it is forthcoming from Honey Collections soon. And so I was thinking of the voice and how the voice can make many different kinds of prayers. And sometimes that prayer is a celebration of a new day. And sometimes that prayer is a deep grief that is blessing the love someone has given you after they've crossed over. And sometimes that voice is the voice that celebrates an adolescent as they move into the world and find their own way home to what they love. And sometimes it is the voice of a baby's cry as it enters the world for the first time and sees the world for the first time. And so this next couple of days over this weekend, I always like to give a practice. I would wonder about where you've placed your voice and what is it that if your voice could say what it really wants to say, what would that be? And I would wonder if maybe you have a journal where you could place that, that's a sacred place for you. And if you could place that in that journal. And if you don't have your voice, I wonder where your voice would be. Like, is it misplaced? Was it put somewhere? And how can you recollect your voice? And one of the best ways I found to recollect anything is to practice it. And so to speak or to write or to express and to have that restoration of that full expression. I am. Hello, hello, Shante. Hi, Carrie. Hello, Taylor. Oh, so sweet. I love you guys. And so I was thinking about with the wisdom, voice, and bounty, what we could do is we could give and extend our thanks and our gratitude to someone. So, in addition to the reclamation of our voice, we can also use that voice to create a blessing in the world by using our voice to extend gratitude. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful to be here with you. And I will see you Monday at 6. Bye.